This is Tim Rogers with the Dodgers 2080 experience. I have Jonah Rosenthal, who is a area scouting director in the Carolinas area. I think I kind of got that right, close, hopefully close enough.
Yeah.
Um,
Area scout, area supervisor, whatever.
Areas, yeah, all right, yeah. There's a good thing with the Dodgers is there's a lot of them. Unlike a lot of organizations that decided that scouting wasn't important and they pay the price. So welcome, Jonah, and thank you
Thank you.
for joining us today.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, so a little background. A few weeks ago now, there was, I was at spring training and a couple of catchers, Ryan January and Dalton Rushing, were talking about this pitcher and saying, "Yeah, you got to see this guy Pilarski. Hey, throws 100 plus, and all that." And so I saw him, and then when I was struggling with some lenses and stuff, so it wasn't so good, and I wasn't paying as much attention. But then I saw him a few days later, and he went and just kind of embarrassed everybody. So Jake Pilarski was the guy, and I threw a tweet out, and I said, "Whoever signed this guy, this scout signed this guy, needs to get a raise." And Jonah, somehow Jonah found me. It was really cool. Um, so it's like, there you go.
Too funny.
Isn't that awesome? I mean, I think for someone like you, so as a scout, I guess you don't see the results so fast. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do and how you find players?
Yeah. As my director Billy Gasparino would say, is it's a process. It's sometimes longer than a year process of creating kind of this carbon footprint and track record with a lot of the players that we deal with. And Pilarski, which we'll get into later, is one of those kind of situations. Um, But yeah, I mean, on an everyday level, I mean, our process really starts in the year before, the summer before, almost their platform years before the draft. Seeing players writing follows on guys from their seasons to the Cape to their summer ball teams to the fall, even on the high school circuit. A lot of the different high school tournaments over the summer and Jupiter and all the other big tournaments in the fall that kind of lead us into the spring where we finally put these reports on these guys and it's a long process of just not only just getting track record and at bats and innings with the players, but also getting to know them and on the high school side, getting to know their families and even fast forwarding, even the high school guys that get to college, just these relationships that are kind of built organically that last, that kind of help you understand these players and their tool sets and their projection. And so it's a process. And you're right. You take some of these kids and it or don't, and you see it
Yeah.
takes years and years to, find out what really happens.
Yeah, I got people who know that I do this covering the Dodgers, and they got kids that are coming up, and they go, "Hey, can you hit me up with somebody?" So I actually eventually I might have some names for you. We'll see. Uh,
Bring them on.
but let's see. So how does one get into scouting?
Yeah, I mean, so I always used to joke that I was the kid on the baseball field that like could tell everybody else what to do, but couldn't physically do it myself. And I
Amen,
always
brother.
thought, yeah, and I had a love for the game, and I had an opportunity in college to be a student manager at the University of Pittsburgh, where I'm from originally.
Okay.
And from washing laundry to setting up baseball fields to getaway food on the road to doing the chart and talking to the scouts in the stands. I mean, it's really a catch-all. You find it. I laugh now when I go to college games and there's like a group of 4, 5, 6 of these people. I did it myself for 4 years, and I wouldn't take that experience away from the world because it teaches you a lot of things. One, it teaches you a lot about the game of baseball, being around the scouts, understanding players, player development to scouting. And then it also teaches you a lot about being humble and understanding that there's no job that's really below you to be working in such an awesome game. Like we have to be we're lucky and fortunate to be able to go to baseball games every day. So we have to understand that it's pretty cool. So it really taught me a lot about myself as a human and what I wanted, my passion and getting into the game. So from there, I entered with the New York Yankees in the front office. A scout by the name of Matt Hyde got me connected with the guys up there, and I did that for a year. then 2 years in player development with the Phillies, which again kind of gave me that full circle of some scouting, some front office experience, some player development. Um, did that for 2 years down in Florida in Clearwater. Got to know guys like Marty Walliver and Joe Jordan, who really started to teach me the game. I got to attend scout school being represented by the Phillies. And that led into my last year with the Phillies, where they actually set me up with Steve Cobb, who was in charge, the commissioner of the fall league at the time, and I got to be the director of
Hmm.
baseball operations for the fall league that year, that fall out in Arizona. So again, it's wearing many hats. I think Ben Sherrington always used to talk about wearing many hats and trying to do as many things in this game to try to gain experience. And I tried to touch as many things as I could, but I knew that my true passion was scouting. And then obviously getting to know Billy Gasparino over a period of time when he was in Toronto to San Diego and then to Los Angeles. He interviewed me at winter meetings and it was an easy fit. And I've been with the Dodgers. This will be my 9th year with them. So it's been really
That's
great.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that means you started what, in 2014 or 15?
15 was my first year.
15. Okay. Oh, and that was when Andrew Friedman took over. Okay.
Correct. That's when Billy came in from San Diego and Andrew came in and all those guys. That was the Walker Bueller draft.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That
Pretty cool
yeah,
stuff.
what a start, to I know that, you look at the draft and you go, wow, there's what an amazing draft. And I look at 2016 and I think 2021 might be an outstanding draft too. But
For sure.
we'll see. 2016
Yeah,
has taken a long time, and so many guys have already made the major leagues, whether with the Dodgers or without.
for
Um,
sure.
is a lot of I've talked to players, and they're 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 trying out for 30 teams, not just one.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
it's the
got
unfortunate truth. Unfortunate truth, but
yeah,
our guys do such an incredible job that they put us in this situation,
yeah.
which is phenomenal. I mean, it's full circle from the guys at the top who are incredible to the scouting guys that again, our group is so impressive. It's really crazy to see how far we've come and the adjustments we've made with the game changing and just not skipping a beat. And those guys, I give those guys at the top, Billy and Josh Burns and all those guys, like so much credit for how much they've done on the amateur side. And then you go to like, starting with Gabe Kapler to Gomes to Will Rhymes and the guys they put into place and just the machine that they've created down in player development. It makes our jobs easier and the synergy that we all have to know what we're looking for, what we're good at, has been really phenomenal. Communication is just really great in our organization.
Yeah, it must be, because I noticed that, covering the Quakes a lot, and then just being in Arizona for a week and catching the vibe down there. The players really do, even though that we, at the end of the day, they really are competing with each other, but you can't tell that. Um, they compete hard, they compete against themselves, but they're also with each other, hanging out with each other. I would say it seemed like, at least to me, of the 180 or whatever kids out there, and they are kids to me still.
Sure.
There's probably, I don't know, I'd say there's like a coach or instructor, it's like a 1-3 or 1-4 ratio. It was amazing.
For
The,
sure.
the number of people out there. So to scouting again, we know, we've heard the trends, everyone going, well, I can just, some of the teams going, I can just rely on numbers and they pay the price. I would you say that the Dodgers are what it did probably in the top 5 in terms of number of scouts?
I would think so, especially if you include the pro and international side. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and so who are some other players that we may have heard of that you've been involved in? Um,
Yeah, I was in 2018, very fortunate to get Michael Grove in the second
mm,
round.
awesome.
Really cool story of seeing him as a freshman, knowing the kid's background from Wheeling, West Virginia, right down the road from where I grew up. Um, an amazing group of guys in the office that trusted kind of the metrics and the numbers and the video that we were seeing off to the side, and then me in the background, kind of trying to dig for information, makeup, athleticism. I mean, this kid was a 3 sport athlete in college or in high
Yeah.
school, Gatorade All American. Like this guy was a pretty special athlete and a human. So me doing the background and the makeup, Billy and those guys, looking at the metrics, looking at the video, and trying to understand like what we have, and then even the guys at the top being comfortable with that pick. So that was a really exciting pick. Then the year afterwards, 2019, I was again very fortunate for Michael Busch.
No, wow. Yes.
Yeah,
Carolina, yeah.
moved down to the Carolinas that year, and Busch slid to 31, and it was pretty exciting. But it was a really great year. It was a good year for me to really dig deep in a lot of really great players. There were a ton of first rounders that came out of here, from Will Wilson to Greg Jones to Blake Walston to Logan Davidson, Michael Busch. I mean, there were a ton of first rounders that came out of there this year, or that they're here this year, that year.
Yeah.
Um, and then a couple guys I'll just say on the forefront that are kind of exciting. Logan Wagner from last year,
Yeah.
high school kid from South Carolina, and then a guy that we got late that really was a fun organic story for maybe another day. But Payton Martin, a high
Oh,
school kid.
yeah.
Yeah, so that one's gonna be those two guys are phenomenal. Love them as well. And I'm really excited for them to get started with us and start really building and learning. So it's been
Yeah.
great.
That's awesome. Yeah, I covered Grove, back in 2019 when he was, coming back from, just the whole Tommy John situation and being pitch limited and really struggling. And he struggled for a long time until I'd say mid to late 2021. Then
Sure.
now he's in the major leagues, or
Yeah.
at least I hope he stays in,
Yeah. Yeah, he'll have some
Big kid
opportunity,
now.
I hope he has some opportunities. I mean, I think what it really comes down to is when you talk about somebody that just puts the work in athleticism and ability to make adjustments and just a bulldog of a competitor. Sometimes you can strip away the tools and just see those intangibles and know that someone's really special. And Grove was one of those guys.
Yeah. So one of the, I like to say I'm kind of in the media world, I'm kind of the low guy. And Grove, 2019 he was there. I hadn't seen him until 2022, and he still treats me great, even though he's in the big leagues and all that. So, and we all know, we've done some our own digging, not digging, but just learning about him. He is a quality guy, and I finally met Michael Busch, and
Hmm.
I'd love to watch that guy swing the bat. Just yeah.
Yeah.
And I did meet Logan, baby-faced assassin, man. I wonder if he's shaving yet, man. He's a big kid.
Yeah, and he's really another guy went home to Chicago this summer and just put in so much work to gain
Yeah,
so much weight. And he is big and strong and switch hitter and
yeah,
a really easy kid to get to know him and his family and to root for.
good,
So,
yeah. And I met Payton briefly too. So what a gosh, you guys are loaded. I actually, so I pulled I got to meet this dude finally. I went up to Andrew Friedman, introduced myself, and even and just talking briefly, and he goes, kind of like, can you believe how loaded we are, or something like that. It's like, I know it's, and because I thanked him, I said, hey, thank you for making my job easy, just to keeping these prospects coming. He just kind of laughed and go, yeah, can you believe how loaded we are? So it's something like that. I'm very much paraphrasing it. um but yeah, you guys, it's really fun to watch, and the quality, you guys do an amazing job of the quality of character, and we know that how important that is. We can see it is in these times, as with social media and everything like that, and these guys they have to put up with a lot. There's the people on the side that just want to, all they do is are negative, and will snipe at them on social media, or just I
sure.
mean, you see that kind of, and they're amazing. um all right, so let's talk the whole Jake Pilarski story, the internet sensation, or whatever that was. It's a yeah. Let's tell me a bit about Jake
Yeah.
Pilarski.
So Jake's just like it's it's every person that's ever gotten to scouting's like small dream, right? Is you kind of stumble upon somebody that you know you might have history with in the past and maybe it didn't work out, and you talk about, all right, well, if A, B, C, and D, E, and F, and G and H work, like this guy could be good. And normally that's really hard to scout, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like that it becomes like a tough scenario of like, is this really going to work? It seems like we're really far away. And that actually happened. He went to a Division III school. He's from Pittsburgh, right in my
Hmm.
backyard in Fox Chapel, and he he goes to school to D3. He performs. He goes to the Citadel his last year of college, and I have him in my area. And I
Mm.
see him in a summer ball team, and he touches like a 95 or 96, and you're like, okay. And then he goes to the Citadel, and just didn't work out for him that year. Between opportunities and roles that he was in, it just never worked out.
Yeah.
Um, so he goes off and he goes to the Washington Wild Things back in the Pittsburgh area, and he literally empties his bank account to go work at Tread Athletics and see what he can do. In the meantime, he's getting his body into crazy shape. He is changing his arm slot. He is changing his delivery. He is changing his pitch grips. He is changing pretty much the ABC all the way to G that
Hmm.
we talked about. But he's doing it now. And he's
Wow.
doing it on his own dime in the offseason while he's working a job. Um, I remember even the day I called him to offer him a contract, he didn't call me back for 3 hours because he turned his phone off when he was working at his job.
Jeez.
So he's just the kind of kid that like you as a scout, you're like, you did it. Like you have now listen, the road is still long ahead. He
Right.
still has to, make a team, go out and pitch and do what he needs to do. But you know, this is kind of like that's what he did. Like he did A through whatever to get to this point. And it's a fun story. There is a good friend of mine who works at Tread. He
Okay.
randomly called me one day and said, your boy Pilarski is kind of good now. Cool. Like send me some videos, send me some
Hmm.
stuff. And I sent it right to Will Rhymes just because I knew the kid. And I was like, man, this looks kind of special. Like maybe we can, do something. He's going to throw a workout for about 8 teams at Tread Athletics next week. And it was Will's idea to say, hey, why not get ahead of the market here? Like you like the kid. This looks interesting. Like let's go for it. And then that's how he did it. And like I called him that night. He didn't get back to me for a few hours. And when he finally did, he was just completely shocked. I mean, and that's another part of the quality of his, or how humble he was. Like
Yeah.
the guy's throwing 100 miles an hour on a video. He's throwing breaking balls for strikes. He has a changeup. He has these things, and it's like, and he's just shocked that like I'm calling him, offering him a contract. That's the kind of kid he is. I mean,
Yeah.
that was my long story long on the kind of human he is, but you get a
Mhm.
sense of like this is a pretty special person who really needed to do a lot to get to where he is, and he did it. So it's
Yeah.
exciting. Really, really excited for whatever opportunities he gets this year.
Yeah, that's really cool. What I talked to him yesterday, and so I'll have an interview with him. So for everyone out there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple of the short parts of some interview, like extract parts of these interviews, and make one story about just about the rise of Jake and all that, or something like that. Something like, and I'll find a better title than that, but. And then I'll be posting the full interviews with both you guys because uh, it's for some of us it's a little nichey that we do and look at, but to me it's fascinating, the stories. Uh we can I think it's great to go and watch highlights. I mean, I post these little one pitch only, one swing onlys, whatever I can throw out there, but at the end of the day, it's people. We're still people, and I think people are fascinating, and I love to hear people's stories, especially stories of perseverance, and don't they make them rip the uniform off you, right? I mean, it's
No,
like, and you do what you can with no regrets. But yeah, I just think it's a great story, and I mean, so new season coming up. I mean, faster than we think. What week and a half. Um, so what are the next and you have a draft coming up. What are we in mid July now, right?
mid-July. Yeah.
Still used to June with 40 rounds, or with the Piazza Day 62 or plus
Yeah.
rounds.
The good old
Um,
days.
yeah, what's the next yeah, and Pennsylvania guy too, right? Piazza.
Mhm.
Um, but what's the next few weeks look like for you now?
Yeah. So, I mean, since I would say about January, we've been really hitting the ground running, from Division II, and this is across the country, from Division II to junior college. D1 started up the third week in February. I mean, it's been pretty much boots on the ground since mid January. So but yeah, we're a few months in. We're almost it's crazy to think about. We're almost at the halfway point for the draft. We're getting close, at least for the season being halfway over. And yeah, I'm just kind of still doing the high school, college, junior college circuit and trying to get my list that
Yeah.
the list that I prepared in the fall, trying to get through it all and get looks on second guys and try to run some air traffic control in my area with guys coming in. And we're just trying to line up another board to hopefully have some success and give development some players that they really like and can make big leaguers as fast as possible.
Uh, Okay, yeah, I'm gonna throw a little, not a curveball, but just kind of a maybe a little lesson for the young ones out there that are coming up. Do you have any stories, of course, without names, of players that you said, "Wow, this guy's really good," but there's something about him character-wise maybe that, or he the way he behaves on the field or anything like that? Is there anything like that that you've encountered?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, what I would say is the biggest lesson to learn is that there's always somebody watching.
Mhm.
Um, this is our job. We show up 3 hours before games start sometimes, and we're there after games end sometimes. We see everything. We talk to coaches, we talk to secondary sources, we scour the internet. Like it's a little bit of being a private eye, but it's at the same time it's about having a pulse. I mean, if we're gonna sit here and put outrageous money amounts on players to get them, I think that it's our job, especially my job as the area scout, to
Right.
know these players front and back. So the biggest lesson to learn is to know that everyone's always watching. And it's always the work that you're doing when nobody's watching that is by far the most important. I will tell a story of there was when I was with the Phillies, there was a very famous big leaguer there, and he was there for a long time. He's played with a bunch of teams. He might be a Hall of Famer one day. And I would come in around 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock to get the video set up for those days games. And this guy was already there, and he
Mm,
was on a backfield, and he was working on things. That's the kind of stuff that separates the good ones from the great ones. Tools aside, that guy he beat the intern to the ballpark to
yeah,
work on things on a backfield before the sun came up, when nobody was around.
yeah. See, and that's, hey, any occupation, right?
For sure.
I mean, but that's great. I'm gonna snip that and I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna send it out, man. It's a really great life lesson, and yeah, event, it, it's hard work is more than just showing up and looking like you're doing the right thing. It is doing the right thing and being able to.
Absolutely.
Well, great. Do you have any other things to kind of throw out maybe to the our little niche crowd of prospect huggers out there, that of things that might be interesting or anything like that? To kind of leave it
Um,
wide open. I know it's like, hey.
yeah. I mean, it's the one thing I've learned, especially working with this group, is believe in the process and believe in the system. Not to copy the 76ers motto, but I think what we've really created is and continue to do is a really great sustainable competitive advantage. And I think all the guys at the top, I'm just a small cog in this machine. And I think the guys at the top do such an incredible job of what they do and the decisions they make. So for the negative fans, trust the process. For the positive fans, keep enjoying it because we work tirelessly. Um, at every level to make this the best experience and to try to win World Series. So it's been a fun ride since we've gotten there in 15, and just looking forward to see what the future holds. So
Where just the important questions. Where do you keep the 2020 World Series ring?
in a lockbox upstairs, and I don't really bring it out very much.
Hmm.
Um, when I got married, I did not wear it. I don't. I. It's not my style.
Right. It's a very big ring. I've seen
It's
a
not my
couple of them.
style.
Yeah.
I've worn it to a few functions. I'm always super embarrassed when I wear it, just because it's just big and I have
I know.
small hands
I
and
know.
it just looks ridiculous. But it's probably the thing that I'm the most proud of.
Yeah.
So that and the Team Israel stuff that I've been doing since 2012 is kind of a passion project. Has been pretty much the two most important things. So it's been a great ride.
Excellent. Well, on that note, I want to thank you very much for joining our little like they call it the Dodgers 2080 experience. Sorry,
Sure.
Joe Rogan stealing from me a little bit. Uh, but yeah, it's great to just get to introduce you to first of all to myself and to the rest
Sure.
of the people out there, and that this is a hard game. Like I like to say, baseball is hard, and to be successful, it just takes so much. And I know, I live in San Diego area, and I know that the Padre fans they would give up 20 years of a good team to have one World Series. So
No doubt.
that's the way it is. And so we are very blessed, and it's fun to be part of watching the Dodgers, and so enjoy, like I said, enjoy the ride. So
Yeah.
thank you, Jonah. I appreciate it. And so this is Tim Rogers with the Dodgers 2080 Experience. And thank you for watching.